Hi, in my previous video I showed you how we can use a application import API using PowerShell, but this was only the first step in my actual goal, because I wanted to create an application which can handle the imports. The reason for this is that we will have, in this case, a history of the imports and can always take a look what has happened, what should have been changed, and that's not all, because I actually want to make a snapshot of the environment before the import and after the import, so we can compare the changes. I have here, this process consists here of 3 phases: reading the current environment in snapshot, the import itself, which you already may know from the PowerShell video, how you can do it there, and a second reading of the snapshot of the environment so that we can compare the changes. So we are now here in the step current environment saved, and we will now here already have information about the application group, business entities, global constants, and global business rules. Those are just a few of the elements I want to save, because some of these elements will always be overwritten, while others can be customized or maybe accidentally overwritten. Like the application groups and business entities, these will be always imported and there's no configuration. So now let's upload the configuration file and the import package. I've used here this attachment in the item list so that I can mark these fields as mandatory so that we can't forget them and really check that these are attached. Once these are added, we can start the actual import, and this follows the process how it should be done. We create a session. Here we have the session ID stored. We upload the files and the configuration file, which will start the import, and then we poll the system for the import. Afterwards, the import has been completed, and then we go to the next step, reading the environment again after the import. And now we will see that we have here 17 changes in the business entities properties and 20 changes in the global business rules. You will see now here that company B has no value before import, so this company B has been created. And we will see in the global business rules what changed here. Here we have the should be overwritten business rule. We see the values before the import and after the import, and that another business rule was added. This way we can really see whether something was added, something was changed, which should not have been changed, and we can then revert it back. And let's go one step back to the import started. It may happen that the import is still in progress, and the import, when the import is started, the current status is fetched. The flow control checks what's happening, and the status either goes back so that you can test it again, or it goes to the failed or completed path. I have explained everything in detail in my blog post. What I wanted to show you additional is the creation of these SQL statements, because it's maybe easier to see it in a video than to understand it from the text. The SQL statements for creating the business rules looks like this. I have to get over to my application import, automations, update application groups. Here I'm querying the database for one specific, you have multiple select statements with the unions, and one select statement only gets one property, or one column. So we have here the AGR GUID, the GUID, which is always, not this one, sorted by differently. But here we have the, here we have the GUID row, here we have the ID row, and since it's sorted by the key, which consists of the GUID and the property, or the column name, we can easily identify whether something was added new or whether something was updated. So while this may look intimidating, especially if you go to the business rules or some other elements, because there are a lot of columns in there, I wanted to show you how I have done it. I was heading over to the management studio, selected everything, copied this information to a nice little Excel sheet, replaced the unnecessary information at the beginning, copied over the table which I was using, updated the defined here which is the GUID column, it's here, which name should be used in the title. The title is here's the title, so that I can identify the element which was updated. So in our case, it would be the name. I can define an optional condition, which is not necessary because we want to get all companies. In case of the business rule, I needed to define a where condition because in the business rules table, all business rules are defined, stored, and not only the global ones, or those in the processes, but also there's no business rules and form rules are basically the same, just as a little difference. It's rule type. In the case of the companies, let's remove this where condition, and then we can just copy our cells here over to the management studio and execute it. And then we have the SQL statements, which we can use in all these actions. You may be wondering why I've been creating add role. I am not using replace item lists here and update here. If you want to get to know the details, head over to my blog and take a look at the remarks over there, because there are some nice, interesting differences how these values treat and how these actions treat empty values and null values. And they are not always saved the same in the item list. Thanks for watching.